Pat, I think I asked you a variation of this question a couple weeks ago. Just like in theory, as you're watching, if you're Tim Connelly and you built that Nuggets team for 10 years and you're watching him go through the Western Conference playoffs, how do you feel? Does doubling your paycheck make up for the run here? Now that they've actually won a championship, how do you think Tim Connelly's night was last night, watching from wherever he was?
I think considering the amazing blunder that he started his career with here in Minnesota, he's got to really feel foolish. That's the way I feel. But again, also, hey, he knows all those guys. He brought all those guys in, so he's got to feel pretty good about that. I would say mixed emotions. Wouldn't you call it mixed emotions, gentlemen?
Boy,
That would be my guess.
Yeah, the paycheck helps.
Yeah, but he knows how far he is away from it. And he knows also he doesn't have the Washington bailout anymore. Those jobs have been filled. He's here, baby. He's got to get us out of this mess that he got us into. So, and I heard some people talking yesterday about trading Cat, and what they'd like to do is get back most of those draft choices they gave up. That isn't happening, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. He's what, 235 million contract starts
in
this
2
year
years.
or next year, 2 years. So you're gonna get a number one and maybe another one 3 years down the road. Hopefully, I doubt it. You're gonna get a number one, but you're not gonna get a bonanza. And also this idea they should only take draft choices. You got to take some money back, don't you, in this trade?
You got to take between like $30 and $45 million back.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there are there's some players out there that that wouldn't just be like burden contracts. You could get a draft pick and a good player or something, but you're not going to get 5 draft picks and 4 players or anything like that.
But you only have to equal the number, not equal the money, but you only have to be in the ballpark of the money for a year, right? I mean, what the long term, you can get out from the long term, right? You don't have to take that kind of contract, right? It's just a 1 year deal, isn't
Correct.
it?
You can, and that's kind of we're going to do an episode on this later today, but that's why you would do it now. If you're going to trade him, you have to get rid of one of these chunks of money by not this season, but next season, or you're going to be screwed with roster building.
Does Anthony already, because he was an all-star game substitute, does he already fit under the max?
He's gonna get a max, but it's not like the veteran max.
The veteran max. Okay.
It'll be $30-some million to start with.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, you gotta pay him. I really do. I mean, all the rumors that are out there now, and everybody's saying they're all speculating, but it's good. I think what they're basing it on is reasonable speculation that they're going to try to trade him, and they might have a deal with him. You just shut up, Cat. Don't say anything, and we'll try to trade you. But it's going to be a lot easier to try to trade you if you're not saying, I want out. But can he resist that urge?
That's a great question. He's gonna at some point, would he get in his feelings and go on Instagram or something?
Yes, that's
a great question.
He'll be on the French Riviera with the girlfriend, and he just, I don't have to put up with this. So anyway, or Cabo. That's still my favorite Cat moment when Ryan Sanders told us that Cat had been in contact with the players as they were working out from Cabo.
And they were very appreciative to hear from their teammate in Cabo with Jordan.
And hey, congratulations to Ryan getting part of that, being an assistant. He landed a pretty good job. And it kind of went back to when he brought Malone in. Didn't he bring Malone in as to help him with defense as a consultant there for a while? It is interesting to see the sideline with Spoelstra versus Malone, isn't it? Though Malone's like rushing the court, and Spoelstra's, trying to think of ideas. Jimmy was amazing last night because he was horrible, and then all of a sudden he scored 13 straight points.
Yeah, there was the questionable foul in the corner that I don't know if it was like the league's last gasp of we could milk another game out of this.
Yeah,
let's go.
That was basically the league saying, okay, there's no foul here. If there's a foul, it's Jimmy kicking the guy in the groin. But we want another game, damn it. Maybe two. That was the most blatant thing ever. Who makes the call, though? Is it the guys? I don't think it's not like
it's the replay people.
Is it
New
replay?
York? It's New York, isn't it?
It is New York.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because for years it was the referees on the court looking at the little iPad saying, "Yeah, I think I see something there."
It's Adam Silver in a gray suit coat petting a white cat. Yes.
Yeah, right. He is. I think he's an extremely smart guy, but to have this guy be the head of the coolest league in the sports is pretty amazing, isn't it? A bald guy with giant ears and sitting there, skinny face and unbelievable. But
he's progressive though. That's the problem. Like my guy Bettman, he's made a ton, but my God, Gary has not.
Bettman, I think your guy Bettman's underrated though. He got Vegas and Seattle, and these guys got Oklahoma City and Memphis.
These guys waited around. Why would you move? I've always said this. Forget expansion. Why would you move from Vancouver, British Columbia, one of the most beautiful places on the planet, to Memphis?
Because the owner wanted out. The owner wanted out, and he could get more money from Memphis, I guess. But
you block it.
Yeah, they should have. They should have done the same thing they did when the Timberwolves were going to move. They should have blocked it. Mm-hmm. Now they're going to go into Seattle, and who 5 years ago everybody was saying, let's get the Supersonics back. Now people, I don't know, Phil knows more about it than me. I don't think they give a damn. Now they got the crackheads. They're all excited.
I think it's the team that got away. I would say there's still a ton of Sonics gear being worn around Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're big enough now that they should have all of them anyway. So
they're bored with the Mariners now, though. The Mariners they peaked last year. They're not fun. They don't. They were all pumped up for this season, and they stink. Right?
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah,
and
anyway,
but here's my complaint. It was over. The game was over. They celebrated, and we had the traditional shooting after the game. In the party, the big street celebration last night. I think 3 people dead. Right?
What?
And they had a shooting last night. But that's what we do now. So, but the game was over 10 minutes, and we were talking about. Can the Nuggets repeat?
Well, Malone started it.
I know Malone said it, but then all the big controversy today, every headline I see, Nuggets could be at start of Dynasty. Can't we just relax for 5 minutes?
No.
Have the parade?
First take is talking Lakers and Knicks and Celtics, Pat. First take is like, congratulations to the Nuggets. Now let's talk about LeBron and Lakers.
On the Nuggets front, I think the question has to be, are the Nuggets a failure if they don't win at least 2 championships in the Jokić era?
And now hockey doesn't do that because hockey appreciates, but every other sport, our first thing after 12 minutes after the game is, can they repeat? I don't know. Yes. And then today we'll have I'm sure they're already out there, the ESPN power rankings for next year NBA season. Even though we have no idea who's going to be playing where or who's going to get who in the draft or anything. I mean, we know that San Antonio is going to get the French kid, but it drives me crazy. Denver, 50-some years, they never won one. Okay, can we repeat?
That's great. Did you see Jokić was asked too about, hey, you were after the Lakers series, you said you didn't really have like any feelings, you were just kind of numb to it all. How do you feel now? And someone brought up the parade, like, you gonna be excited for the parade, and he turns to the PR person, he goes, when's the parade? And they said Thursday, and he rolls his eyes and puts his hand. He's like, I just want to go home.
Yeah, his whole thing yesterday was, I want to go. It's time to go home. It's
the
done.
mission is complete. It's time to go home.
He wants to, Well, and when you think about these guys, and they've gone through it for years, he's probably stuck playing with his country team in 24, right? Getting probably the European tournament to make the field is probably coming up. So I don't know if he's going to play or not, but if I was him, I'd say, hey, good luck to you fellas, but the hell with it. I just took my great big broad shoulders and carried this team through the playoffs. I need some time off playing 42 minutes, lugging this huge body up and down the court for 42 minutes a game. I'm not playing. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're not going to win a medal anyway.
And one trend I noticed with just I follow some Nuggets media and Nuggets fans, and then now you see like the algorithm will put stuff in your feed. Nuggets fans and media made it their quest the last 2 months to make it known how none of you watch the Nuggets, and all of you should be ashamed of yourselves for not knowing that the Nuggets were this good, because everyone was picking against the Nuggets throughout. And I called them a fake 1 seed, by the way. So I am in that one. But they are like, every fan base plays the no respect card. But I think this team and this fan base have played the no respect card more aggressively than anyone I can ever remember.
Well, hey, Nuggets, you won the championship last night with probably your worst game of the playoffs. So don't get too giddy. They didn't make any shots. Yeah. That poor that Porter turned into a Michael Porter Jr. was awful. And they 94 points to win the game. But the Joker, man, if he's not the Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year, there's something wrong. He's unbelievable. Yeah. You know what we found out yesterday on Suchi? I was talking with Suchi, and I was saying they had some other name before they were the Nuggets, and we couldn't remember what it was. It was the Rockets. But before they were the Rockets, when they first got an ABA franchise, their nickname was going to be the Larks, the Denver Larks. Can you see the Joker playing for the Larks? I cannot see that.
What does Larks even mean?
It's a bird, right?
It's a bird. It's a bird. And they never made it to the first game. They must have really gotten a lot of derision out there because they switched it to the Rockets. And then I think that when they got absorbed, there was already another Rockets or something? I don't know. They switched to Nuggets in 70, fairly early in their operation, but they were the Rockets when they first started. It's always been a good basketball town, though, Denver. They drew a lot. I remember one of the most fun games of the very rare fun games of the Timberwolves history was when Denver pushed them to pushed them in that first round playoff series, and the Timberwolves won a war out there in game 4 to take a 3-1 lead. That's when Garnett threw the ball way up in the air and it came down and hit me in the head. Oh. I was typing away like this. Garnett all the way. I was going like this, boing, and I went up about 50 feet. The next time I saw him, I said, "Okay, that's only gonna." I said, I'll take 100,000, and we won't have to have a lawsuit. He said, "That's what he was a nice guy." And he said, "That was your headed hit. No wonder it went so damn high in the air."
Was that before or after he punched Francisco Elson in the groin?
That was probably afterwards. Yeah. That was when they didn't go back to the cameras to see what happened, you could get away with a little more stuff than you can now. So.
Yep.
But
most important, Pat, did you include yourself being hit in the head in the column?
I don't think so.
Because you did when a ball against the Magic at Target Center bounced and hit you, and literally in the middle of the column, you inserted it where it had happened.
Well, you're on deadline. What the hell are you going to do? You got
it was great.
Yeah. Anyway, good for them. It's nice that the NBA lately has gotten away from you had to be one of the glamour thing. Toronto wins it, Denver wins it, so that's And I thought this was all in all a great NBA season because it was unpredictable in a lot of ways, and a lot of the rotten teams were better than they usually. They had a few rotten teams, but the rotten teams were better than they usually are, and the great teams, had more losses to nobodies than usual. They didn't have the usual complete imbalance that the NBA has.
Yeah, and it does kind of feel like there was a stretch there for a long time, especially like the LeBron 10 years of reaching the finals and the Warriors. What maybe even like the last 30 years of NBA, because you went Bulls and then there was some randomness, but then you went Spurs, Lakers, Spurs. This is the first time where it really truly does feel like it's not just a super team running around.
Yes, this team was wide open. This team was not assembled. I mean, by three guys coming in and saying, let's play together and try to win. I think it's great that the Phoenix, which was close, decided to bring in Durant and give it and start all over again and fell on their ass. So I think it's a good sign that it's not the LeBron era of getting two buddies to come down to Miami and win championships. Maybe that's over. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not wide open in the way that like hockey's wide open, and that if you just get in, anyone can win. In the NBA, it's more wide open in that if you can find two really good players, you can make it work if you build the roster the right way.
Yeah, it used to be three. I think it can two, but you gotta have seven more guys who can play a little bit. Who aren't. There was an amazing amount of NBA depth of talent this year, though. I think even the Timberwolves are bringing guys up from Iowa, Luka Garza, and some of those guys. When they played, they were okay. They weren't just complete stiffs. So there's a little more balance in the NBA, which I certainly enjoy. But we remember this, and I tweeted it out. Denver's celebrating one lousy NBA championship. We have 5 in Minneapolis. We have 5 NBA championships in Minneapolis. As somebody pointed out, we have 5, but that's when we only had 48 states. When we had those 5. We hadn't added Hawaii.
The odds were better.
We hadn't added Hawaii and Alaska yet when we had those 5.
Denver, which is very comparable to here now, has back-to-back winter champions too.
Yes, Stan Kroenke, maybe one of the biggest jackasses in Minnesota, now has 3 champions. He's got the Super Bowl, and he's got the Stanley Cup, and now he's got the NBA championship.
I couldn't use the bathroom at TCF Bank Stadium for the Rams-Vikings game because of Stan's security detail.
Plus, he's a right-wing, Trump-loving Walmart jackass. So, but if you got enough money, you can do whatever you want.
I just want to use the John, okay? I don't care what his politics are. All I wanted was take a pee.
That is true. So.
Yep. All right, Pat. Anyway. Well, we'll see. Now we get the crazy NBA offseason here the next few weeks fired up. So we'll see what happens.
And we have the AL Central, NL Central showdown for 2 days here. If you want to see some rotten baseball with not much hitting, get out there and watch these two teams.
Right. Let's get it. Drink a beer and yes. All right, Pat.
See ya, Judge.
Reusse Unchained, presented by our friends at Power Lodge and Miller Marine. I don't know if you're a former Nuggets executive looking to de-stress after what you just saw last night. Doubling your paycheck helps. Maybe getting on a Bennington pontoon if you're Tim Connelly can help de-stress you, Judd.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. Throttle therapy is good for us all this time of year. Look, we've only got a couple months that are going to be this gorgeous, this nice. What better place to be than on your Bennington, especially if you're a Minnesota sports fan, decompressing. Perhaps you'll see Tim Connelly out there and you can throw some trade ideas his way.
Hey,
no matter.
Hey, Deb.
Yeah.
Deb.
Phil, you got to trade somebody.
You got to trade somebody.
Look at the salary cap. Look at the salary cap. No, throttle therapy calms you.
PowerLodge.com or MillerMarine.com.